Hello and welcome to a special episode of Dots, Lines, and Destinations. You know it's special because this is Seth hosting, not Steven, and also because we have 3 special guests, and they're all special, and maybe I'm going to say special one more time.
That's spezial.
Spezial, I can do it in German, yeah. Guten Abend and willkommen at Dots, Lines, and Destinations.
Yeah, genau.
We are in Germany, Hamburg. It is Aircraft Interiors Expo 2016. We just wrapped up, and I am joined by Mr. Jason Rabinowitz.
Hello.
I did the great thing of talking to him while he had food in his mouth.
Thank you for that.
Mr. John Walton, who drank his wine just slowly enough that I couldn't catch him.
Hello.
And, of course, the ever-wonderful Miss Mary Kirby.
Hello there.
The Flugzeugfräulein.
Apparently that's how you say runway girl in German, I believe.
Loose translation.
Or John is mocking her incessantly and she doesn't know the difference because she doesn't speak German.
And that's all right.
Yeah.
I can take it.
As we've done in the past at these shows, we're going to have a quick little round table, sort of talk about what's new and amazing and what's new and awful. You guys want to do worst first or best first? How do you want to play?
First is the worst, second is the best.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, I'm still confused. And we're not even that drunk yet. I don't know. Anyway, I think John wants to do worst first. Is that what you're saying?
Why not? Yeah.
Alrighty. John, what was the worst thing you saw on the show floor?
Ooh, what was the worst thing I saw this year? I'm going to have to say it's those new Boeing 737 seats from Lyft.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because, and here's why, there wasn't actually a lot of new weird stuff on the show floor. There was a lot of stuff where people were like, oh yeah, well, we're finally delivering that thing that, we told you about 5 years ago. There's a lot of people going, we're going to deliver at some point this thing we've been telling you about for 4 years. And in terms of actual new stuff out there, most of it was evolutionary rather than revolutionary.
Sure.
This stuff,
As is this, let's be fair. These are not revolutionary seats. They were never meant to be.
Yeah, but here's the problem. They're not evolutionary either. The problem with them is that they have not leveraged enough of the stuff that decent seat makers are already doing in terms of getting the seat out of the way of your knees and in terms of, just sort of being a modern seat. And look, these are essentially cheap seats that Boeing is offering to airlines that don't have a sales organisation that can buy the seats at a reasonable enough discount. So you can buy your 737 and fill it with economy seats relatively cheaply and very easily. There's a market for that.
Yeah.
But the seats you get are not going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I don't think the market wants that.
Sure.
So, that's fair. Mary, you didn't spend a ton of time on the floor. We had you working too much. But
I was working a lot, and I apologize. I've got a big mouthful of food.
I'm really good at calling on the people that are otherwise unable to talk.
You're a terrible host of this.
I think it's great content.
So I do not spend near as much time as all of you on the show floor. So apologies for that, because I was trying to publish. But looking at the negative, I had more kind of questions about these portable wireless IFE solutions that we're seeing. People were not answering my questions about the safety side of the equation. You're bringing on hot boxes. You're stuffing them in the galley or the overhead bin. They're unproven, and yet they're winning awards already, and it's concerning to me. And there's not any one that's worth highlighting, because there's actually now several on the market that are touting this, and I just don't feel like the safety has been proven yet.
Yeah. So look, if you're coming to this sort of thing fresh, essentially this is a server plus wireless access point that is in usually a sealed box that
with a large battery included.
With a very large lithium battery included,
Very
which
large lithium battery.
have an unfortunate propensity to burst into flames, which can't really be easily
They were
protected.
quite clear that they stop at, I think it's 9,900.
Bottles of beer on the wall?
No, it's not. It's like, is it 10,000 milliamp hours? It's the limit.
Whatever it is, whatever
They
the
stop
limit
one
is.
short.
Yeah, exactly. It's 100 watt hours if memory serves.
So they're 99 watt hour batteries.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I don't know what they did with those other 98 bottles of beer on the wall, but I'm not sure that as an airline I would want these things. It might not even be that the battery itself catches on fire. It might just be that there's a lack of ventilation in these things. Those overhead bins do not ventilate particularly well.
No.
And just look at the damage Just look at the damage a single iPhone can do. We saw one of those erupt into flames the other day. That's a tenth of the battery capacity of one of these devices.
Amen. Precisely the concern. And I attended recently, about 2 years ago now, IATA now is doing a cabin safety conference, and they bring a lot of kind of head pursers together from all over the world, and it's really fascinating. And the number of incidences where devices are going on fire, not just in the seat and getting crushed in the seat, but also in the overhead bin, in the carry-on bags, and how difficult it is for them to put those fires out. I believe it was Air New Zealand, actually, who had an incident a number of years ago.
Yeah. And here's the problem. Look, if this device bursts into flame, or even just starts smoking, in an overhead bin when there are 15 or 20 other bags, all stuffed in there like they are...
Does that mean that others are going to set on fire?
Other things are going to catch. And there's a lot of nylon and polyester and suitcases.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, hopefully not in clothes.
Well, I'm not talking about people's fashion sense, John.
Right,
I'm talking about the materials that make up the bag.
And here's my other problem with that, is that the airlines haven't really figured out the place or the methodology for fighting those fires.
They really haven't.
The current thing is basically, throw it in a bucket of water.
And and some of them are...
I mean, literally, that is the idea.
Isn't the specific training for the point of sale fire, throw it in the rubbish bin?
No, take the rubbish out of the bin first, then throw it in the bin and fill the bin.
But not ice, because ice actually makes it a worse situation.
What's the better solution, though? Moving forward, we need to have a better solution.
There are these bags, containment bags on the market.
Yeah.
They cost a little bit of money, but they do work. We've seen plenty of videos to suggest this.
Yeah, and here's the other thing.
Ejection portal.
No, here's the thing.
Boeing's already doing that for the batteries.
Why can't we just have a little one in the cabin?
Here's the thing. What we have for bombs, we have a least risk bomb location, right? That's where if you think something's a bomb, you put it there and it's not going to take the entire plane down. You hope, right? It's a least risk. We need a least risk fire location for planes, and the airlines aren't really, looking at this. IATA and ICAO aren't. They're not doing their work properly.
I hope that they address it. There's an IATA conference coming up in May in Florida. We're going to have a presence there, and so hopefully this is an issue that we can bring up.
So be vigilant on your next flight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Make sure that Wi-Fi hotspot doesn't explode.
Absolutely.
Keep an eye on it in the galley. The flight attendants will love that.
Yeah, bring a large bucket with you.
Oh my word.
Jason, what's worst?
The worst thing. So I'm not going to say the worst thing. I'm going to say the thing that I think is most unlikely to ever actually see the light of day at 30,000 feet. And they're going to hate me for saying this, but it was the Thales Digital Sky seat.
Yeah.
I love the concept. I give them huge props to really going out on a limb and trying this out. But it's this economy seat, or I guess a economy plus seat, that has a 21.3-inch LCD screen embedded in the seat in front of you. And it's...
portrait.
It's not 16 by 9. It's like 9 by 16. I'm not sure what aspect ratio. But it's really cool. The top half of the screen can show you a movie in HD, and the lower half can have the moving map in a full screen mode, search for another movie or whatever you want to do on the lower half. But it's huge, and I can't imagine 250 seats on an aircraft in the middle of the night all blasting out all this light. I have a hard enough time sleeping when someone has a little 6.2-inch screen on that I love the idea. I give them credit for trying it, but I hope it never flies.
Yeah,
I'll buy you an eye mask for your next flight.
Thank you.
Seriously.
I love Thales for pushing that envelope and for being so innovative in this space. But we now have kind of a number of products that are kind of wow, whiz, bang, that actually not sure if they're ever going to see the light of day. And I think the eye tracking...
A lot of the vendors are doing that. I guess the question is, have we reached the point, and we've talked about this, not necessarily in this podcast, but amongst this group a few times before, is there a point at which a big screen is too big?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, when it's right in front of your face.
That varies based on class of service, how far it is from your face, and all of those things, but... Have we crossed the line, jumped the shark, otherwise gone overboard?
I don't think this was the screen to do it. It's 21.3 or whatever inches, but it didn't feel overwhelming because it's the entire length of the seat. But if
so you're kind of immersive almost?
It's kind of immersive, and it didn't feel overwhelming in the minute and 32 seconds I had in the seat. But it didn't feel like I had a 42-inch HD screen 4 inches from my face. It was kind of nice, and I hope there can be some way in the future to make that work, but I kind of don't want it to
So
work.
Your concern is more about just the overall cabin brightness and sort of light pollution effect more than...
That thing's going to be hot.
The power consumption,
They're gonna. I have to assume that before we ever got on a plane, they'd have to figure out the heat and power consumption problems, just because getting 150 or 250 of those on a plane, they probably wouldn't be able to support it.
Yeah, I mean, I know the problem with the heat is a lot of existing IFE screens get really damn hot, don't they?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, especially the big ones. You look in business class, those things have a lot of venting, and there's not the space for that in economy, not even an extra legroom. But here's the other thing I think they need to work on in that kind of space is getting HD content on there. So much stuff is still like 480p at best.
So you're going to do that with 480p?
Yeah, in terrible aspect ratio. And, what's it going to do? Sort of display a YouTube video at like native YouTube size, 2 inches, 23 inches?
Or really tiny in the middle.
Little tiny thing.
I love pixelated video in 23 inches.
Not just letterbox, but whatever the side thing of letterboxing is as well.
That's
And then on the other end, you have Panasonic on their waterfront seat, not waterfall, waterfront, that has 4K content. I saw that last year at this show, so it's been a full year, and we're no closer to 4K than we are to 720p.
No,
1080i even.
Yeah,
There's only 3 or 4 airlines running HD content right now, and the content and the volume they have when you do have it is terribly low.
Yeah.
What did they say, like 8% of content or 4%?
Not even.
No?
Yeah, and it's
not even.
mostly because it needs more storage, and the screens are so close that you don't necessarily need the 1080p or 4K HD. There's some good reasons for it. There's some bad reasons for it. At the end of the day, it all comes down to money.
Yeah. I also think the Hollywood studios are none too sad to only have their videos available on IFE systems for potential piracy, as if that's where you're going to pirate a movie from, in 480p, right?
I just use the regular internet. Is that not what the cool kids are doing anymore?
No.
Or they go flying and find a way to break into the IFE system, which is which is stored in the avionics bay.
It's in the cloud.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
What you did there. I see it. For me, worst on the show floor, I'm having a hard time coming up with an answer.
Because there wasn't much
much on the floor.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just an evolution of what we saw over the previous years. Like, hey, we told you about this thing over the last years, and look, we actually have a thing now, a hardware
made
thing.
a box. A little plastic.
Sure, we made it 2 days ago, but it's here and it's working.
Yeah, there was
I give props to the guys that made the stuff 2 days ago and had it working.
You know what?
Yeah.
Bless
That's-
them. I can't believe
That's
they
a
pulled
ballsy
off.
move.
Bless their little hearts.
Yes, and their little boxes.
They're little cotton socks.
Is that how we do it? Okay.
So much blessings.
So many blessings. So many blessings. Blessing.
Hashtag blessed.
Let's talk about
Is there a patron saint of the IFE's kit? Is that a thing?
Possibly. Who's the
You
patron
two
saint
are
of...
moderately you're moderately religious, John. Come up with an answer by the end of the episode.
I'm Anglican. We don't do patron saints of anything.
No. You're the closest I know to religious at this table.
I'm
so.
agnostic these days, but I can confirm as a lax Catholic that there are patron saints of many things. I'm sure there's one of IFE floating around out there, benefiting from all of this.
St. Meryl Street.
All right, best of show. And I send all lowercase, not caps, so we don't own any copyright issues.
Here's the thing I'm most excited about. Stelia, the company formerly known as Sojama, the French Airbus-owned seating company, has finally sold the best recliner seat in the world, the Celeste.
Yes!
This is exciting. We don't know who it's to, but we think it might be someone in the Latin American region.
I have been sitting in this seat
Ooh la la.
once a year, every year at AIX.
Okay, fabulosa.
This
This is 3 or 4 years old now, right? 3? 2? This is the third year we've
This
seen
is the
it.
third year we've seen it.
So it's a 2-year-old product.
Yeah.
The first gen, I think I wrote a, oh my god, hell no. The second gen was actually like they fixed the problem.
It is by far one of the most comfortable seats, economy or business class, that I have ever sat in.
So this seat is a basically fixed frame, sort of from legs to back. It goes all the way. It's your full contact all the way up. But when you recline it, the whole bucket that you're sitting in reclines.
You know those leather seats in the 60s you had, and they were on like this metal sort of kind of curved frame, and the whole thing just sort of reclines.
I wasn't sitting in leather seats in the 60s. It turns out I wasn't alive yet.
Yeah, well,
neither were you.
Or anyone here, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, it's one of those design classics. There's a name for this chair, which I'm sure Seth will put in the show notes. And
Wait, you're giving me an assignment?
Work.
There are show notes? We go over this every time.
There are show notes. I sometimes actually put the things that are promised in them. Apparently, I'm going to try.
Yeah, you're going to do that this time. Just ask me. I'll
Strange leather seats.
Yeah.
Wait, strange leather 60 seats.
Yeah, that'll do. It's and look, it's the thing that I find very comfortable about it is that Jason and I are pretty tall. You're what, 6'2"?
Yeah, give or take.
That's I'm 6'3", and that's fine, right? And the interesting thing about this is that it supports your entire leg. It's not just like a little sort of leg rest sort of pops up and hits you mid calf.
Right.
Right.
Which is useless.
Which is deeply
utterly
It's
useless.
entirely useless. Like, put that thing away. But this it reclines in this sort of scooping motion. You're just like,
If I could buy one of these seats, put it in my living room, and watch TV,
I would do that.
I would take that
absolutely
seat.
do that.
That
Yeah.
sounds nice.
Well, there was a representative from an airline I won't name in the booth at the time, and even he walked up to her and said, "This is the most comfortable seat I have ever sat in."
Yeah,
so there are
and
actual industry veterans sitting in this seat and saying, "This is the best thing I've ever sat in."
And I will, I think I've said it before, but reiterate, I sat in it the first time around and did not like it. The second time around, I was actually pretty impressed by it.
yeah.
So, some challenges with short to tall, and can they fit, with a fixed dimensions like that? Can they make something that works for everybody?
Mary Ann Simpson liked it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
and,
loves,
she's
she loves
5
nearly
foot.
all seats, though.
She's 5 foot what?
She's tiny.
5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
She's tiny.
Standing on a phone book.
5 foot nothing and a half in heels, right?
I mean, she's happy to fly. For example, she's happy to fly 12 hours in economy class. No bother to her. No bother to her at all.
I do that though too, and I'm not that short, so
I can't.
You're
do it
50th
anymore.
percentile.
I'm
I can't
I'm
do it
percentile.
anymore.
I'm an
It's
average
painful.
specimen.
Yeah. You're the crash test dummy.
You're an
So-
average specimen.
His head comes off in everything, listeners. It's amazing.
Interesting take. Glad to hear that they've got a customer.
Me too. Me too.
Always interesting.
Yep.
I'm going to go next because I think it's along the same lines. Recaro had a premium economy seat that they showed, and along with their sort of talking about the modularity and flexibility of their products. I know that was a different podcast, but you didn't hear that before, so
Right.
yeah.
Their products are very modular and also very flexible.
So speaking of the modularity and flexibility of their products,
Good segue.
yeah, impressive, right?
It's more of a hoverboard, really.
The music caught on fire and is a disaster. Is that what we're using hoverboard for these days, right? John's going to snarf his wine. This is great.
that word snarf.
I am
Great
not.
word.
I am practiced at trying to laugh with a mouthful of wine.
The Recaro seat that I sat in, it's sort of the next generation. I don't remember the letters and numbers that are associated with it. It's not like it would mean anything to
Nokia
anybody.
3210.
Yeah. The recline is, a little deeper than economy. It's a little wider than economy. That part is the same and relatively normal. But instead of these sort of crappy pop-up leg rests that never quite fits anyone right.
Mid-calf,
I guess mid-calf and barely, and then the metal footrest folds out of it.
Yep. And it hits him right in the Achilles heel. That's my favourite.
Those are great for no one. And there's a separate footrest that flips down from the seat in front of you.
Oh, the one that hits you mid-shin. Yeah, it's great. It's delightful.
So
A+ I liked.
what they have here, sure, that one. Maybe.
Yeah, that one you can't see.
That one,
This is
another one that show can
excellent
see,
radio.
and that I'm not even certain that it's accurate.
Yeah.
Definitely that one.
Anyway, so
The
how's
new
it
one,
work?
the leg rest that comes up is more of a calf rest. It's actually designed to full contact against your calves, and so it flips up a little further. It can extend up and down once it's out. It actually can tilt up once it's out. So it really adds the flexibility of touching.
It is the PL 3530, by the
Papa
way.
Lima 3530, now cleared for takeoff on runway 24 right.
I'm sure I had that phone.
What I actually found the most innovative about the seat was the tray table and iPad or PED holder, whatever you will. It's kind of a dual stage, dual level.
Are you sure we're talking about the same seats? Because mine didn't have that.
Well, I don't think you will talk
This is
about
Recaro, right? I mean, every one of those 3 seats has a different bolt-on in every part of the seat, right?
That's right. Yours is the front row, isn't it?
Yep.
I sat in the second row. That's why we had different seats.
This is the modularity we're talking about. The thing about Recaro seats, and the reason why you look at a really full-featured Recaro seat and you can't necessarily tell it's the same as another Recaro seat, is because you can bolt on your power supply, your USB socket, your PED holder, your PED clasp, your little sort of cubby hole for assorted telephones and everything. You can sort of
Mix and match.
You can mix and match whatever you like, right?
It's a Lego kit. I mean,
it is.
Snap it all together and then you're done.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was a really nice premium economy seat.
Yeah, I did too.
Also, it reclined nicely, and it was pitched at 38, I think, or 39 on display. So not too. I mean, it's not the best out there. It's not the worst out there. Not the most consistent. I think 37 to 38 is probably a little more common on the European carriers, at least. But
what, for extra legroom economy
No,
or
for premium.
full premium? Yeah, it's 37 to 42 these days.
So that's middle of the road. Plenty of space, reclined well enough. They reclined the seat in front of me. I didn't feel oppressed by it. So quite frankly, if I can get premium economy, I'm a pretty happy camper anyways. But this one was Happy Camper Plus, pretty damn comfortable.
Wow, very nice.
So,
And actually, the interesting thing is there's not a lot of innovation in the land of premium economy. All those seats look very similar. Part of that
it
is
has consolidated down to one place.
Yeah.
I will say
Yeah.
there were things like the Celeste.
this is the Stella Celeste.
So there is some variety there, but most people have come back to basically what we want is an economy seat with an extra inch of width, 3 more inches of recline, and
we want
a
US
nicer tray
domestic
table.
first, basically, is what we want.
Not quite, but yeah.
Yeah.
Acro has a new premium economy seat that they kind of had on concept last year that they have actually on display, and you can actually sit in the thing this year.
Yeah, that thing's delightful.
And it doesn't look like any real premium economy seat I've seen before.
No.
Their design, I mean, yeah, any airline's going to design it whatever they want it to look like, and they'll blandify it. But I thought it was really interesting. I like the way Acro seats feel.
Yeah.
And I feel like they actually have comfort in mind before slimming it down. Of course, they look slim, but they're also comfortable at the same time.
The thing I love about Acro is that these guys start from the principles that Charles and Raheem started with, which is, what's the most natural position? The next position. So they create seats that get out of your way, right? These and these seats, they look.
And they're solid. They don't look like lawn chairs.
Exactly.
They don't look like they're going to fall apart. In fact, we've stood on them.
Yeah, you've stood on a tray table.
I've stood on a tray table, and it has been able to take my full weight.
We have pictures.
That was back in the day when there was so little tiny itsy-weensy thing.
It was NCT, but they're impressive, and also I gotta say, hats off, their management is impressive as well.
Sure is.
They know their stuff, and they know it from not just a B2B standpoint, but they know it from a consumer standpoint as well. That's what's always been so impressive about Acro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know how to fly.
And you'll find their seats on a few carriers these days. I mean, you got them on Jet 2.
And Spirit.
Frontier.
Yeah.
And less complaints, I have to say, on Spirit these days. People are kind of talking about...
Yeah,
They go on the Hawaiian 717s, right?
Yeah, on the inter-island stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Mary, favorite thing you saw?
Okay, so I do just want to give a very quick shout out to Aircraft Interiors Expo for facilitating the speed dating session that we all had.
A speed networking session. We didn't actually get any action from
I've got
it.
a
Really?
date later tonight. No, I'm kidding. You're right, but it's
I
in the
got a
same.
whole lot of people's phone numbers.
It's in the same concept where you go table to table. Don't know what to say to that anymore. So you go they come table to table to the journalists, and it was lovely because you had
I didn't have to move. It was great.
you didn't have to move. It was 3 to 5 minutes. They gave you the pitch, and some were actually rather impressive. And I wish I had the list in front of me right here. The ones that really blew me away. There's somebody down in the Carolinas doing actually really truly sustainable kind of manufacturing of aircraft seat parts, like elements, that I found that impressive. They're doing it all solar powered. It was
I
interesting.
talked to them.
Yes.
They were really interesting.
I'm like,
They didn't make it over to me. That's a bummer.
I'm like, wow, that's really neat. You guys are really making an effort in an area where we really need to see more greening of aviation cabin interiors. So that's something I think we will try to highlight on Runway Girl. But in terms of what I saw on the show floor, and again, couched with the fact that you guys saw a lot more than I did because I was on the computer a lot, I went by the Contron booth. And, of course, Contron has been this kind of quiet giant behind the scenes.
They make all of the hardware that makes your in-flight Wi-Fi work. They're the access point and the interconnects and the servers.
They're the Cisco of in-flight Wi-Fi.
They are the Cisco of in-flight Wi-Fi, and they have become the dominant player because we've seen some others that used to be dominant shift out. VT Miltope, for example, comes immediately to mind. They've kind of backed off on the commercial space. They're doing more in the defense sector. And what has happened is Contron has taken a totally dominant position, and virtually every major manufacturer and a lot of the miners are whitelisting their hardware for wireless HiFi. Now that part's not news. What is news is Contron is on the march in terms of the making the Internet of Things of aviation a real and true thing. We hear a lot about it.
The Internet of Planes.
It is the Internet of Planes, and Contron now, because they've got so much content on so many planes, they're able to track these planes, they're able to get very useful data from these planes, and now the next step is to add sensors to a lot of the things that we passengers use or will find useful. So, for example, slapping sensors on the lavatory door so that as a passenger, ding ding, you need to use the lav, you're on a wide-body aircraft, you can make your way back there because that lab is now open. Also,
I'd like some sensors on the laboratory floor, perhaps
Yes.
moisture sensors.
Moisture sensors that allow the crew to, okay, it's time to go mop up. Sensors also...
That's going to work really well.
Oh, those American Airlines flight attendants are going to
Well, yeah, they're going
I'm
to...
like,
Burp this plane.
I'm more thinking of like the poor person who misses because of turbulence, not because they're confident, and like lights start flashing as they walk out the door. Like this guy did it. I don't know.
What I found really interesting
Valerie's
was they
not gonna
said
be
even
happy.
sensors on the life jackets because they actually said that there is some shrinkage, and I was
There's
unaware
a
of
lot
this.
of life jacket
People are
pilferage.
stealing life
Yeah.
jackets. So if you are
I've always
in,
wanted to.
Jetstar has a huge
I tried
problem
to
with
buy
that in
them.
Australia
oh
and
my
New
god,
Zealand.
so this is like
I tried to
addressing
buy
a very
them
real
used
problem.
off of an airline
So
before
if-
because they're fun.
Well, I mean, a flight attendant will know in real time if a life jacket or a portable IFE unit or anything that is being handed out that needs to be handed back is being taken off the aircraft.
Yeah, I will say if they can come up with a way to track the Bose headphones that American Airlines gives out so the flight attendants don't have to harass me after I've already returned mine and someone else has it, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that is exactly in line with what they're talking about. And what I find so interesting about the conversation I had with Contron executives this week was that we've heard kind of bits and bobs about Internet of Things of aviation, but we haven't had a fully formed message. They've now got a fully formed message, and I love it. And it's attached to the fact that their content is on
I have to do a quick shout out in this context. GoGo this week, also at the show, officially unveiled a book that they've produced
yes, that's
related
right.
to the Internet of Things in aviation.
That's like an e-book, but with pages.
Yeah,
That's
actual
where
paper.
you read on the toilet, right? That's a toilet book.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I use my iPhone for. No. Anyway,
To borrow Seth's iPhone.
you borrow my iPhone when you go to the bathroom. No, that's not right. Somewhat self-serving in that I was a contributor to the book, so I am required to be happy about it.
Oh.
But I actually think it came out really well. It's gorgeous. I haven't seen the digital version, which there is, so you don't actually have to buy it, I don't think. I also should probably read that press release at some point. But really pretty, really nice, and some really solid content.
I'm looking forward to reading it.
I saw some other really
In the
interesting
bathroom.
examples of the Internet of Things.
Yes.
So at Ricaro's stand, they were doing some very cool stuff.
Can we call it Internet of Stuff?
Yeah.
And junk.
Internet of Whatsits.
Yeah. That's right. The Ricardo guy had... This is where we got the demo of the seatback recliner.
Yeah.
I got some video of it.
It was pretty cool. So basically, let's say that a seat isn't properly put in the upright position before landing. The flight attendants can tell who that is, and eventually the integration will, I'm pretty sure, flash a message up on that person's screen going, "Sir, would you please put your seat in the upright position?"
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right?
Please put your seat up now so we don't have to come over there and yell at you.
Yes, I saw this as well. This
Yeah.
is impressive.
It's really cool.
The other thing that I found...
Similar to what Contron's talking about, but they've actually got...
Yeah.
And they showed it, like, the guy held up the console of the iPad app, and they pulled a seat back, and we watched it go red.
Yeah.
Very
so
nice.
it's, like, actually working.
Oh, very
completely
good.
theoretical. There's a lot of more, also theoretical stuff they were talking about, but that one actually worked.
And the other thing that I thought was fascinating was that they can, let's say that the swivel motion of an armrest is rated for 30,000 swivels, right? Once it starts reaching the requisite number of swivels, that armrest can say, "I'm about to die because that's how many swivels I'm certified for. Please replace me." And it will itself email or push
The
notify.
sensor can count to 30,000 and then send an email.
Yeah.
Or update a database somewhere,
Yeah,
more
exactly.
likely. But
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It'll send a Snapchat.
Yeah, it'll send a Snapchat.
Brave new world we're marching into. My
Yeah.
sister's house is completely connected. I mean, her toaster, the temperature on the barbecue. I mean, it's nutty. So
It's all fun and games until Google bricks your thermostat.
Did you hear someone was quoted today actually as saying we're going to have a real problem when all these connected refrigerators get malware. It could actually be a major economic impact on the world.
I agree.
Oh.
I agree.
If that sort of thing happened and they all were suddenly shut off and melted all the food, which is a very simple version of breaking the world.
Yeah.
A one-time hit of waste like that on a broad, in a hurricane or something like that, you have a one-time hit and everybody has to throw everything away, but it's relatively localized. Can you imagine that happened to the entire country, even if it's only 10% of the fridges that have
This
this?
happened to a Target store, I believe. There was some sort of vulnerability left open at a Target store, and a hacker found it, and they shut off all the refrigeration in the entire store.
The Dwayne Reed by me
All
just
the
had all the
bottles.
freezers go off, and they still tried to sell me the ice cream once. But is that the same thing?
Isn't that just custard at that point?
Well, actually, what's funny is it went off. I told them they turned it back
it in your
on,
coffee.
and the next day the stock was identical, and I knew it, and I was like, "Oh no!"
no,
and I walked
no.
away. But No, but that's an interesting concept that, I don't know why we're talking about malware on refrigerators anymore, other than I brought it up. But Internet of Things,
Internet
right?
of Junk.
What's the Internet of Things?
But if you can imagine that spread across a much broader scale than just a small localized area, there actually is potential there. So airlines are going to have to be careful.
This is one of the reasons I'm very reassured that the airline industry is a fairly risk-averse industry. You know how long it took for us to be able to use our phones on the plane. So hopefully,
Still not in China.
right?
Still not a lot of the world.
Yeah.
Wait, I remembered a new worst thing I saw at the show.
But we're in the best section, Jason.
Yeah, I want to go back to the worst thing though.
Okay, everybody, rewind about 16 minutes.
20 minutes ago.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I saw a brand new premium economy seat that still not even on an aircraft yet has composite video input. And this just gets back to the thing of just how long the product cycle is and the ridiculous things that airlines want in their products. Like Panasonic is still installing those EX port things for the iPod. Not even the iPhone, the iPod.
Not anyone at this table, but has anyone in the history of the world actually used a composite video input
No.
on an airplane?
Am I going to plug my DVD player into it? My PlayStation 2? What do you plug in this?
Well, it's video only. So you have
accepted.
video only, so you need a separate headphone jack.
I don't even know how you use this thing or what device you use.
I tell you
but
what,
we're in 2016.
Are there enough amps on the power plug to turn on the PlayStation 2?
2016, and we have composite video input on a brand new
Someone
seat.
who wrote about that very product years ago when it was coming on the market, at that time, I have to say, it did seem like
a really
was
bad idea.
the hashtag bee's knees. It didn't. It was just
the-
before the iPad changed the whole entire game.
Well, this was before specifically Apple changed the game. This gets to the whole risk-adverse thing that Panasonic was actually thinking ahead. They wanted to get...
So, to say that no one's ever wanted that is, shit, we got a whole drop out of the audio right there.
Is this not doubling as recording?
It is. No, it's not doubling. Whatever. You guys missed about 6 or 8 seconds there. Sorry. We're going to keep going.
Yeah. So I'm right. It is the worst thing in the world.
No.
But here's the thing. I was talking to a few people this last week about the ability to both charge and connect via USB. Do you know anyone who's ever loaded a DRM-free movie which they acquired through legitimate reasons, like ripping a DVD on their computer, which no longer has a DVD player?
I once plugged a USB key into one of these IFE systems. I was at a Boeing press conference, and I plugged it in just to see what happened. And it loaded up a JPEG image, and then I thought to myself,
were you a little embarrassed by which one loaded?
Why would I do this? It was a press kit, a USB key, and I thought, why would anyone ever do this?
Were hot, wet planes waiting for your call?
To relive your vacation. Right then and there.
On the way home.
Who wouldn't want to export the pictures from the camera onto a USB key and then plug that USB key into the screen and then watch it on the screen?
Just while you guys are talking USB, while I have John here, I want to remind you, Digicore is doing your favorite USB 3 ready for... They
USB-C.
Sorry, they said that the Astronix patents are starting to expire.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to start seeing a flood of in-seat power guys on the market.
Yeah, I was talking to a new company in this, a first-time exhibitor at the show. They reckon that it is 1 year until we see USB PD, the power delivery USB, like the ones that'll charge your new MacBook or whatever it is that Google makes that uses.
I'm actually kind of scared about that. I'm sure you've seen all the news pieces that a cheap USB-C cable can basically fry anything you plug it into.
Yep.
And a lot of passengers are going to be fine with a lot of cheap piece of junk cables, and they will fry whatever they plug it into.
That would be the airplane.
What happens when you plug a cable into an airplane? Do you fry the whole electronic system that powers the
most of those are built with, at least there's the power distribution unit head end that controls up to 24 plugs.
Once that fries, though, that's it. You have to replace that hardware.
Mm-hmm. Sure, but at least the whole airplane doesn't crash.
Right. Well, I suggest a Kickstarter to send Jason to all these places and try to break them. I honestly think that will be a very useful industry.
There was a Google engineer, of course he was sharing on Google Plus, so nobody saw it, that he took cables that were being sold by Amazon, the world's largest retailer.
It was fulfillment by Amazon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It was fulfillment, but the problem was they weren't testing or even looking to see that these cables were approved. So whenever you plug it into, instantly fried.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a big problem with USB-C.
Yeah.
Now, the good news is, though, what it's frying is what you plug it into, not your device, and the cables are cheap, so, no big deal.
Yeah. Reasonable. But no, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this. We're still in a place where people are installing on seats delivered fresh from the factory USB 1, like 1 amp USB. And
half amp.
Yeah.
I've seen half amp lately.
It's baffling.
It can charge your iPod that you plugged into the EX port to watch your own content.
No, you can't, because that thing is already plugged into the EX port.
You only get one plug.
I remember when Cathay Pacific introduced that, I guess it was like late 2010, just before Apple went Lightning port.
Bonus. Jason, do you have a favorite now that you've done 2 haters?
Favorite.
If not, it's okay. If you just want to, your favorite thing to do is to hate people.
My
cool too.
favorite may have
Taylor
been...
Swift is disappointed in you.
No, my favorite may have been Lumexus's Gen 4 system.
That thing is pretty...
There are
FTTS4, fiber to the screen, so Lumexus is fancy. They use fiber optics instead of copper wiring to go from their
Ethernet
heading.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Ethernet is copper. Yeah.
Actually, Ethernet can run over fiber also. So,
Yeah. But this system is it's slick. It's incredibly responsive. It's lightweight, and there are a few systems out there that people will say, "Oh yeah, it's totally lightning fast. You'll love it." And it actually lives up to those expectations. But this one actually did for a change.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I thought it was spectacularly responsive. I really liked it from that context.
And they're working with some live TV partners to pump in live content, which is new for them. And I do like my live TV content on long haul flights, which is kind of new. But that was, I think, my pick for favorite.
I tried to watch live TV the last time I flew Emirates. And it was like trying to watch some rugby through a snowstorm. And then
was that on the KU?
Yeah.
IPTV? Sport 24 or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you were also in, the middle of nowhere with no coverage.
No, the Wi-Fi was working just fine.
Oh.
It was just, the quality of that was not great. So, it'll be interesting to see how that develops, particularly live TV, right? People want live TV, whether it's an Adele concert or whether it's a Superb Owl.
That's Super Bowl for people who don't like football.
What, your kick egg thing?
I just want some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, New York, Atlanta.
Doha.
Yes.
Real Housewives of Doha.
Well,
I would watch the hell out of that.
I will admit, this is my total guilty pleasure. I only allow myself one seriously guilty pleasure in terms of content because I'm online working most of the time. But I do allow myself this bathtub moment with Beverly Hills or Atlanta, and these bitches are fucking crazy. Oh, sorry,
That's okay. We're allowed once before we go off PG-13.
Okay.
We're cool.
Sorry, and they're hilarious, and it's become almost like the new suck you in soap opera. I know it's highly manipulative what they're doing.
It's the new Full House.
It really is.
So you want a system like Thalys's LTVS Plus or
STV Plus?
STV Plus. There it is.
STV Plus.
I had that once. I had to get a cream.
Yeah. Quickly trending out of PG-13 once again. STV Plus is their new streaming product. It's going to go live on JetBlue starting in 2017.
I'm looking forward to this. This is good.
Streaming television, but also streaming to the in-seat. The plus means to in-seat. And so this is basically the same product JetBlue has now, but with semi-DVR-ish functions.
Yeah, you can pause, rewind, and then fast forward. So if you
semi-DVR,
the way they were selling to me,
you can't set things up to record in advance.
DVR heights adjacent.
The way they were selling it to me is if you have to go to the bathroom on the plane, you could pause it before the commercials, go do your thing, come back, fast forward, and catch right up.
And if they've got the Contron kit on board, you'll know when it's the right time to go to the bathroom because it'll tell you that there's no one in there.
There you go, and I'll be there with or without shoes on.
And apparently my phone reading. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. It's time to go get some dinner here in Hamburg and actually start drinking, which, if you believe it, we haven't done that much yet, but we're getting started. Thank you for listening. You can find Jason on the internet at Airline Flyer. You can find John Walton on the internet at ThatJohn. That's mostly Twitter things. There's other internets, but that's the one we talk about.
Yes, that done on Snapchat.
Oh, yes, that John.
Well, if we're doing Snapchat, I'm airline.flyer because I'm bad.
You're late dot
Get
a
my
dot.
late
Dot getting there. And we've got Mary Kirby, of course, at Runway Girl.
And also Seth Miller assisting Runway Girl on Instagram.
That's right. Follow at Runway Girl on Instagram. You might see stuff from her. You might see stuff from me. You might not know who.
It's been off
You
the
might
hook.
just get Seth lunch.
It's been off the hook this week. I've had more followers this weekend than ever. Thank you, Seth.
You're welcome. Quite. Also, RunwayGirlNetwork.com. She's one of the few of us that has a regularly updated, frequently
actual
managed
website.
actual website. You can follow the Dots, Lines, and Destinations podcast at DotsLines on Twitter. We're moredotsmorelines.com. We love and appreciate reviews, comments, hate mail, any indication that you're actually
How
still
much
there
hate
listening.
mail do you get?
Surprisingly little, considering how awful we are.
Huh.
Take care. Have a great flight.
Take care. Thank
Happy
you.
travels.